2 American climbers have reportedly successfully skied down from the summit of the world's 4th highest mountain. Hilary Nelson and James Morrison scaled Mount Lhotse's 27,940-foot, 8,516-meter summit on Sunday, the Sherpa of the Stream Climbers and Expeditions Organization said. They were accompanied by 2 other climbers, 3 Nepalese Sherpa guides, a photographer and a filmmaker. Nelson and Morrison descended on their skis on Sunday, with expectations to reach their base camp at sometime on Monday. The 2 shared images on social media of portions of their hike up the mountain, leading up to their summit and the start of their descent on Sunday. Mount Lhotse, located in the Himalayas on the border of Nepal and the Tibet Autonomous Region of China, is a sister peak of Mount Everest. It's been quite a roller coaster of emotions these last few weeks. It's hard to believe the number duffel shuffle has begun. I am sorely going to miss Amelia Harrington and Adrienne Belanger on this trip. I've never experienced the hurdles that we came up against in planning number LHOTSESKI 2018, Nelson wrote. Nonetheless, we get on a plane in a few hours and I can feel the stress and anxiety peeling off my shoulders. It's been a few years since I've been back in Nepal and I miss it, and I am so excited to spend the next 5 weeks climbing in the Himalaya and hopefully making some really exciting turns. At Van Earthbase at Cliffbur Jim Morrison at Dutch Simpson Morrison shared a similar post, including a well-known quote. Life should not be a journey to the grave with the intention of arriving safely in a pretty and well-preserved body, but rather to skid in broadside in a cloud of smoke, thoroughly used up, totally worn out, and loudly proclaiming, "Wow! What a ride," he wrote. At Hilary Nelson and I are headed to Nepal with a few bags, a goal of a lofty summit, and a ski back down. I can say with confidence that the journey to the starting line has been exhausting, memorable, awesome, and it's only just beginning. When the team landed in Kathmandu, Nepal, they went straight from the airport to the ski ministry and walked out with their skiing permit after a chat with the minister about climate change, they said. Along the trail to the top, Nelson and Morrison shared gorgeous, scenic views and photos of experiences with the locals as they made their way to base camp, Camp 1, Camp 2 and finally to the top. The sun came out yesterday, and along with the solar rays and the snowy Himalayan peaks came big smiles, Nelson wrote on September 5th. We scrambled up to 16,500 feet above the village of Farage with number Amadabloom soaring above us the whole day. The next day, they had made it to 5,000 meters in elevation, above the clouds for a glimpse of one of the world's most beautiful mountains, according to Morrison. Acclimatization is awesome when the sun pokes out of the monsoon. Tomorrow we will move up some more, whittling away at our goal, he wrote. I spent my day marching slowly up Rock Glacier towards the Khumbu Icefall, marking a path with cairns through this melting, moving, changing world, Morrison wrote on September 8th, with a photo of himself and Nelson holding a sign that read POW Protect Our Winters. We're here to climb and ski lots, but today I was just mystified by the sounds of this old glacier. No trail exists here as the ice flow and melt erases it every season. So we find a way, we forge ahead, and we leave only our footprints which will vanish like our ski tracks. Morrison added, at Protector Winters and thousands around the world are marching today to make some noise about number climatic change. For me, it's clear that these sacred wonders of our world need us to act. policy and dollars focused on solutions will have to make a difference for our children to be able to experience what we take for granted. I don't have the answers, but not a day goes by that I don't have hope that we will find a way to protect this one ever important world. So go outside and walk with your community, make some noise, let your friends and family know that you care, and that you believe we will find a way to number of Tonkley number vote number LHOTSKESKI 2018. As Nelson and Morrison did their part to raise awareness about climate change, they also embraced the local religious culture. Before the two could embark on climbing and skiing Mount Lhotse, they first had to participate in a puja blessing, which is a time-honored Hindu ritual. On September 10th, Morrison wrote, "Tomorrow we will participate in the puja blessing, and the team will all take the morning to become aligned with our Sherpa's cultures. A lama will be here, gear will be blessed, chanting will happen, and lots of praying hands emoji will be made. Only after this traditional ceremony we will be ready to start doing the hard work to climb and ski number Lhotse." The team completed the ceremony on September 11th, on the 17th anniversary of the September 11th terrorist attacks, which held immense significance for Nelson and the team. Today, Tuesday, September 11th, was chosen as the most auspicious day to have our puja ceremony, Nelson wrote. Typically the ceremony lasts several hours and today was no different. As I settled into the chanting, it occurred to me that Sept 11 is an auspicious day in the lives of many Americans. I remember September 11th, 2001 so clearly, and as I fell into the rhythm of the lamas chanting, it was like I slipped into the skin of who I was that day 17 years ago. I wasn't married yet. I obviously wasn't divorced yet either. I didn't have children. I was still oblivious of the intensity of a mother's love. My beloved Labrador Buck was still alive. My sister hadn't hit her head yet. My dad could still see out of both eyes. I hadn't yet touched death with my bare hands, my freezing fingers. I had yet to see the sun rise from the top of the world. I already had my heart broken, and not just by a boyfriend. I was still naive enough to be standing atop many righteous pedestals. I distinctly remember having no interest in politics. I'm ashamed to say I'd never even voted. I voted for the first time in the next election because of 9/11s. I didn't know anyone who died that day, but I remember trying to find my brother as he was working in IC at the time. I remember time passing so slowly. Only now 17 years have passed, and time is most definitely moving fast. Slowly I came back into my present skin as the chanting was joined by drums, and as the Sherpa began to string the prayer flags around our camp. Tomorrow we can start climbing through the ice fall and moving towards the rooftop of the world. And on September 12th, they moved forward, making it through 1/3 of the ice fall by September 13. The next day, the entire team pushed on to Camp 1. By September 16, Nelson, Morrison, photographer Nico Ninja Callis and filmmaker Dutch Simpson made through the top of the ice fall. Nelson praised the documentarians, writing that they crushed it during their first time in such an inhospitable environment. Yesterday we moved with Sherpa from Camp 1 to just beyond the bread loaves before Sherpa turned round. Weather was a whiteout and snowing. The foursome waited out whiteout conditions and made it to Camp 2 just before dark on September 17th. It was a fairly intense day all in all, but so happy to wake up to blue skies, surrounded by Lhotse, Everest, and Lhotse.